associations like that, who have poured into me and made all of it possible. An amazing team, and then just having the why, because my daughter, being a single parent, wanting to be there for her, wanting to be there for my family, just so many things that I wanted to do that corporate America was not going to allow me to do, and this company enabled me to do that. And so it just means the world to me. This team means the world to me. And this is just the first $1 million. And if I can do it, like I told you before, if someone like me, with just the wild, my baby now, my grandson, if someone like me can do it, there's no excuse in this room that you can't be the next person up here. So thank you so much for celebrating me, and I look forward to celebrating you as well.
We had a ring runner on this team some years ago. We had a ring runner, and this ring runner had a quote that he came up with. And this quote was, "We didn't come to take sides. We came to take over." No. Don't get excited about that. Because that's when we were a team. That's when we only had a handful of millionaire club members. We only had a couple of ring runners. Family, we ain't no team no more. We a movement. TNV, we don't have to take sides because we already took over. Watching them build with compassion, watching them build with honesty, watching them build bringing truth to the matter, watching them continue to build. That's why they're my heroes. But family, I want you all to understand something. If you all are not plugged into the self-taught experience, G-Plug, you're losing out. Episode 2 of the self-taught experience talked about connecting the dots. And I want you to understand something. Because Miss Self was able to support her husband through repossessions, through hard times, because this man had to get on his knees and look for money in the grass, because he had to take coins out of Ray Vaughn's bank, he continued to grow. Because the seven prayed prayed for us to build a foundation. Because of all of that, Mr. Self knew the value of working his business. So let me share something with you. This man continued to build his business, and one dot led to another, led to another, led to another, led to another. Mr. Self was at an event, and there was an AV guy working, putting the cords up afterwards, and Mr. Self said, "Man, did anybody talk to you about what we do?" He said, "No." So Mr. Self prospected this individual. Mr. Self not only prospected this individual, but brought him into business. And this individual recruited someone, who recruited someone, who recruited someone, who recruited my queen. Organization that you don't never have to worry about. He's my hero. But when I first came to the Legal Shield, I lost my way. I got problems. I was all stern. No, that's not who I am. And if I cannot build my authentic self, I can't build it all. So Ron Green taught me how to put fun back in my business. That's why he's my hero.
Daddy!
You want to get mad about your business. Danny Katoa sat in the room pressing play by himself for months, but he's a millionaire club man. That's why. sat in what we used to call the Quincy seat, and he smiled at me and he affirmed me the whole presentation. I thought I was messing up, but he affirmed me. Because he affirmed me, people made money. That's why that man is my hero. She shared her story today on this stage. And what did she say? She had some, right? She was building her business, and she didn't feel certain ways about it. But what did she do? She made a decision. And because she made a decision, she's the newest Millionaire Club member, Circle Champion. I'm talking how to do presentation. That's why she's my hero. You all see me working around here, not because I have to, but because it's my honor to. Why? Because this is a damn movie. That's why. They talk about that. That's why they're my hero. People love the Jackson. When I saw him, he said, here's the funny thing. Two completely different personalities, right? But when they're on stage, they are powerful together. And I wasn't even married when I first saw them. But you know what? I knew when I do get married, at the point that I come, my wife and I can stand on the stage and be better than we've ever been. Why? Because we had examples. That's why we're talking about. This is really nice. This is really nice. You know, I saw years ago, 2005, you know, this man right here talks so strong about the TNV name. He talks so strong about the leaders in his company. That's why he's my hero.
All right.
And he was telling me about Mr. Williams, when you build, do not leave counters behind. He just simply told me, honor your team. That's why he's my hero. Mr. Michael Williams. Because when I came into the business, I was a single father. And let me tell you this, mommy and daddy guilt is real. It's real. And when you have to leave your children to go and do what you got to do, sometimes it get hard. But it was watching him in a training teach me and taught me the value and understanding that I can put those marbles back into the job. Bert Callen. This is why these events are so important. Like reading after the meeting, Mr. Calhoun said, Mr. Williams, if you learn to build your organization in New York, in Florida, in Georgia, in Texas, and California, going through my child custody case, worst point in my life ever. And I fell off the Performance Club. And Mr. Edwards, after a briefing, came to me and said, Mr. Williams, I'm noticing you're not on the Performance Club board. And we had some more talking, but guess what? I got back on the Performance Club. That's why this man is my hero. Mr. Lewis White, same period in my time, going through my child custody case, right? I was frustrated, couldn't build a team. But what did Mr. Winder do? Mr. Winder, who was doing a lot of groups, took me on his groups so that I could put some money in my household because I wasn't doing nothing else. That's why that man. This is why Kevin Mack is my hero. Because I learned a long time ago from Kevin Mack. When we build this business, we build it for a lifetime. We do not build this business for incentive, for promotion, trick, none of that. Why? Because you'll be lopsided in the business. And you will never grow. That's why Kevin Mack is my hero. Miss Linda Gray. She's where she is because of edification, because of third party, because she can speak better for others than most folks will. That's why she's my hero. Mr. Tyler White. Mr. Tyler White. Tyler, we always learn. We always learn. You're one exposure away from an explosion. 22 exposure led to Kevin Mack. And when I learned that, he's my hero. Miss Angie Tyler. I'm not going to see her walk off the stage, but you don't know what believe this. She's an amazing young lady. No longer working our business, but here's the thing. She still Performance Club qualified. Jay-Z did the Black Album. And the very first thing I thought about was TNV. Why? Because it's in here, because we are a movement. There's no jealousy in this family. In this family, celebrate diversity. This family,
Yeah.
we look for it, we celebrate it. I'll be 18 years in this business, and when I got my $50 career, no one came up to me and said, man, what took you so damn long? They did. You know what they did? They said, congratulations. Why? Because they were excited from it. The same way. And I'm going to be honest. When Daniel Funk came up on the stage and we didn't celebrate him the way we were supposed to, we were not representing a movement. We was representing a team. And teams have jealousy, but you got to think about it. When you have a team going on, what happened when what's the boy from Patriots? When Brady left the Patriots, what happened? Did they go back to the Super Bowl? No. When Michael Jordan left Chicago, did they win anymore? No. Those are teams. See, in movements, it don't matter who leaves. Because we had a lot of folks leave, but guess what? We continue to go.
Sometimes you work with people because there's a synergy there. We all work with a lot of different people in this business, but there's those special combination that you know just brings out the best in you.
Family, I saw that clip for the very first time about
Sometimes you work
years ago. It was right after. All right. I want to show you all a quick video on what being a movement is really about.
Sometimes you work with
Pivot and go to the next one. Make a failure, pivot and go to the next one. Is that all right? So family, listen. TNV, we started out as a team. But family, we quickly grew into a movement. So I want you all to say one thing. I want you to just scream as loud as you can. We are a movement. We are a movement. And being who I am, and when I'm who I am, when I'm me, I can help anyone. Because I'm my authentic self. That's a confident leader. A confident leader is one who can say, I apologize. A confident leader is one who will say, I don't know. A confident leader is the one who will say, you know what, I'll help you to figure it out. But here's the point, family. When you are a confident leader, you can quickly go from position leader to permission leader. That's what it is about confidence. What is an arrogant leader? An arrogant leader is the one who thinks he or she has permission, and they don't. It's all position, but they continue to tell you what to do. It's that one that tells you, listen, you know what? Because what you're doing may be something new. Like, for instance, I'm not a social media person. And if I was arrogant and I had someone on my team who wanted to prospect on social media, I would be telling them, you know what? That's not right. It's not the system. Why? Because I don't understand it. So that arrogant leader is the one who fears what you're doing because it may be a little bit different, and they speak out of absolutes. You can't do it because it's not the system. So you have to follow it the right way. And then as a leader, what's the signs of a great leader? The signs of a great leader is one who can inspire their team to do things that they never would have done if it wasn't for you. So family, take action. This is the last tip. Right? Take action, go to work. But here's the critical part of this. Plan, do, review, and adjust. You gotta learn to pivot, man. Forgiveness is just pivoting. I learned a valuable lesson not even a couple of months ago, last month. I was talking to Mr. Self about something, and I was like, man, listen, I would have been frustrated, I would have been upset. What happened? And he said, Mr. Williams, you know, you gotta learn to pivot. And I said, okay. I'm sitting there, I was like, whatever, what else? And when he broke it down, you have to learn how to pivot. And he said, but the key to pivoting is this. When you learn to pivot, once you make the decision to go into this direction, you don't want to look over here. Right. That's what the adjustment is. So what do? A leader or a person who's willing to win is the one who can make a failure, pivot from it, and go to the next one. Make enthusiasm. Get excited and stay excited. Because when you get excited, you give your organization the opportunity to do what? To be excited, right? You cannot build an organization with individuals who are laxing, right? But here's the thing, some people are never celebrated in their job. Some people are never celebrated in their homes. Some people are never celebrated in their environment. So it's up to you as a leader to show them how to be excited. Would you agree with that? Yes. So how do we inspire our team? How do we get excited and stay excited? How do we help our team to become more excited? A couple of simple ways. Number one, to celebrate small wins. Hitting senior associate is big. Hitting manager is big. Hitting director is huge. But it doesn't always have to be that. What about their first Zoom? What about putting a list together? What about the accomplishments? See, we overlook so many things and we miss out on opportunities to celebrate our teams. But when you can celebrate everything, it's critical. Second thing, incentives. The company is always putting incentives out there, right? So here's what I would advise. Add an incentive to your team. Throw out a little bit of money. Mr. Self invests in us all the time. He invested this weekend, all the time. The trips, everything, right? They sacrifice. That investment pays big. And then here's another thing. A scoreboard. I send out a scoreboard to my team all the time on everything. Why? Because if they're looking at each other as competition, it inspires them to do more. It does, family. Trust me when I tell you this. And then, be a confident and attractive leader and not an arrogant and offensive leader. What is the signs of a confident leader? A confident leader is him or her. Is that right? Him or her? Is the individual who's confident in their own self. They don't have to be someone else. See, I'm on this stage as Eric David Williams from Buffalo, New York. That's who I am. I can't be any of you. If I did, it wouldn't work. So calendar today and calendar tomorrow today. Because when you do that, when you wake up in the morning, you always know exactly what you're doing. See, I'm on a call every morning with Ray myself, and we have to talk about activity. I'm gonna tell you about my wife. My wife barked at me when that was rude, babe. I'm sorry, I should have said that. I apologize. My wife, every day at the end of our call, we have to give our daily activity, right? So we did activity, and we be getting in there sometimes when we're not really strong on our activity that day. And we only supposed to say, look, I got this many followers. I got this, all business related. We be on, I gotta walk my dog, I gotta take the kids. And Donald Williams was like, oh no, listen, we're not gonna do this. If you don't have activity, don't preach on it. But when you calendar your tomorrow, today, you always know exactly what you're gonna talk about. And then track everything, right? When you track everything, it makes the biggest difference. Now, family, this right here, enthusiasm. You're looking to build your team, or do you want your team to build you? And that's the critical question. Here's an example of someone who's looking for his or her team to build up. My goals better become your goals. But as a real leader, it's my job to make your goals my goals. Because in the process of helping you to reach your goals, I'm going to reach my goals. Would you agree with that? Yes. That's what it's about. It's not about being selfish. We got to grow. We heard all weekend long about how Mr. Self continues to make our goals his. And he's not going to wait for us. But it's about allowing us to grow, and as we grow, everything he needs to do. Right? Set the course. Now, I'm going to be transparent. This set the course part. Woo, I'm weak in this. I'm going to be honest with you. This is my wife's right here. So when I was putting this slide together, I was thinking of Donald Williams. Because every single day I see my wife working on her goals using the SMART system. I see my wife affirming every single day. Right? Every single day, her and her workout partner get on the phone, do everything they have to do. They're affirming themselves, right? They're building them. Game plans. My wife can show you books and stacks, and she can go back months and tell you what she's doing this day, what she's doing that day. Why? Because she game plans it properly. Personal development. I'm doing this on the audio side. Hate reading. I can read, just hate reading. So I listen to audios all the time. Right? Just being honest with you, family. So make sure you're doing personal development. It's truly going to help you. And you cannot build a huge organization and not be personally developed. It's impossible. I'm just letting you know that. Impossible. So you have to work on yourself. Because personal development is not for you to preach to them. Personal development is so that you can work on you. So that you can build yourself. So when you come in contact with something that ails you, you know how to handle it properly so that you don't speak to your team the way you should speak to them. And working with the will. You're going to have some people on your team that can only work Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You're going to have some that's Tuesday, Thursday. One of the biggest mistakes we make is we try to squeeze Monday, Wednesday, Friday folks and shove Thursdays and Tuesdays and Saturdays and Sundays into their plate. And what happens? It frustrates them. So it's our job as leaders to just go out and grab more people. Right? I'm so grateful that Mr. Self talked about the cadence of consistency. Because whether you realize it or not, sometimes it may be frustrating to us, but it's going to help us to build long term. Let's go to the next point. Evaluate your attitude. Now, there's a quote that John Maxwell said. It says, before you attempt to set things right, be sure you see things right. That's critical. Because this portion of what I'm about to talk about, honestly, is the absolute very hardest part. Because this portion is baggage. So what's hurting you? What's hurting? Are you upset with the company? Are you upset with individuals on your team? Are you upset with whatever it may be? I don't care. Whatever you're upset with, let it go. Right? We heard all weekend long at the men's event, the women's event, yesterday and today, we talked about forgiveness, right? When you learn to forgive, when you learn to let things go, it frees you. And when it frees you, now you give yourself an opportunity to grow. And when you give yourself an opportunity to grow, guess what? You allow your belief to grow. Because if you allow other people to dictate what's going to happen in your life, how can you take control? And if you can't take control, you can't believe in what's going to happen because you don't know what's going to happen. Would you agree with that? So you have to learn to forgive. And you have to be willing to take responsibility. And once you can do that, not only will it free you, but now you can teach that same example to your team on what forgiveness is really about. On what it is. You can say, look, don't do this as a travel agent would do it. You can let them know as a tour guide, I went through what you're going through, and this is exactly what I had to do. When we can relate to our teams can go a lot better. So forgiveness is critical. And here's the thing, family. When it comes down to attitude, are you willing to build? Are you willing to do the work and build, or are you looking to build something? And here's exactly what I'm talking about. Critical part. Whenever we talk about taking inventory, right? We're going to say, look, we're about to run a 90-day deal, and it's always we're going to go ahead and take inventory. And what do, family? We always bypass ourselves, and we look to our team. But the very first thing we need to do, we got to look at ourselves first, right? Are you willing? Are you ready to do what it takes to make that change? And if you say the answer is yes, at that point, now you got to put the boulders on your calendar. What are your family obligations? What are your work obligations? What are your church obligations? And once you do that, family, now you can look to your team. Once you look to your team, same thing, you're going to look for their boulders, but once you're looking through your team, here's what you're going to look at. Let me say this before I even talk about the team. We only work with the willing. If they're not willing to work, we're not going to drag them. Period. So we work with the willing. So here's what we do. When we go to our team, what are we looking for? Very first thing we're looking for to identify the leaders. Because it's the leaders that's going to help you to grow. The second thing we're going to do, family, is we're going to look for those individuals who are Performance Club qualified. Because everything we do hinges upon Performance Club. Would you agree? Third thing we do is we're going to look for those individuals who are close to a promotion. Why close to a promotion? Because those are the individuals, if they're willing, we can work with them to help them to hit that next promotion, which will start to create the momentum that we're looking to create. Is that all right? Yeah. So here's the thing, family.
All it says is, I'm the guy that helps people walk away from their 9 to 5. And again, that one post had 71,000, but hashtags are really important, of course. And also, hooks are really important because, let's get a screenshot picture if you can. But hooks are important because you want to get people to stop scrolling down the scroll hole and look at what you got to see, right? It's the whole concept of TV. TV is entertainment to get you to stop and watch what they're doing so that they can have an ad for you, right? That's the whole concept of television, and we're doing the same exact thing. Okay, so my personal brand is all about entrepreneurship. It's about family, it's about faith, it's about all these things. And anytime you see me post, these are the types of things that you're going to see me post about. And so I just want to share a success story with this one video. This is literally a 6-second video, I believe. But this one video got us 15 associates, this is a lot of success. I'll share more in a minute, but if you can play that video. Here we go.
Oh yeah, that's like creators. Yeah, I think that's it. Next week. Close enough. That's good, yeah.
Does that make sense? So continue to post, even if you don't think people are responding, they're watching. I was in Target one day and someone said, man, I've been watching your videos. Like, really? Because you never comment, you never like, you never share. I didn't say that to him, but I'm thinking that in my head. But I understood that people are still watching. All right, so just understand that, just like the bamboo tree, just like as you're building the business and things that you don't always see the success right away, when you want to see it, understand the success is actually still happening. And so, attraction marketing, my personal goal is to get to a place where I have more people reaching out to me than I'm reaching out to them. Now, I will say this, it takes a while to build a brand. So just don't think that you're going to post and everybody's going to start reaching out to you. That's not how it works. I've been at this for a few years now. But what I'm understanding is, you have passive marketing and aggressive marketing. The aggressive marketing is in the DM. direct message. You're building relationships, you're communicating with people, you're connecting with people on purpose, just like you would on the street. It's the same concept, but I think sometimes we complicate it, right? But while you're building those relationships on a daily basis, you're also going to do some posts. That's the passive marketing. That's where you're hoping someone says, hey, I like what you're talking about. I like you as a person. And by the way, in the beginning, people may not know you, and they may not trust you, but if you can get them to like you, they'll eventually know you and they don't trust you. And people buy from people that they know, like, and trust. Right? And so that's the formula. So some ideas of how to, some content to post is you have promotional posts. I did a post about Puerto Vallarta. Right? I didn't even say it, really. But I'm excited to go. Who's excited to go to Puerto Vallarta? I'm just going to pull up my iPad. Woo! Man, that's what happens when I start turning 40. All right. And so I want to share this with you all. You want to build a brand. And a lot of times I find that people are building the PPL brand. But that's not what you really want to do. You want to build your brand. Right. You are a brand. Everybody say, I am a brand.
I am a brand.
You are a multi-million-dollar brand. And I need you to understand that. So when you're posting, you should be careful what you post and how you post and how you say certain things because you're a multi-million-dollar brand. Okay? And so what do you want to be known for? How do you want people to see you? How do you want, what do you stand for? What do you stand against? I want you to think about those things on a regular basis. Also, sometimes we're saying, what do I actually post? Everybody keeps saying, I need to do social media, but like, what do I actually post? Well, there's this strategy that I have that I learned called ILT, Invest, Learn, Teach. And basically, we've all invested in an incredible concept like this, right? We're learning incredible things. I got so many quotes, so many stories that I'm going to be sharing for the next 6 months. This is off of what I've learned here. So we learn things, and then we're going to teach it to the world. So there are a lot of people that we like to follow. Who do we like to follow? Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, Barry Cardone, Bishop T.D. Jakes, and the like, Oprah Winfrey. And so what are they doing? What are they doing? They're influencers. They're bringing value, and that's why they get paid for that value. That's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to bring value to other people. So just get some screenshots of this, if you can. But what is your avatar? Who can you model? Because I primarily build my business through social media. I don't really go to any networking events. I don't even really prospect people while I'm out. Because you're like crazy, right? But because of social media, I don't have to. See, I'm a natural introvert. So just like someone said it a minute ago, it's out of my social media training. I'm not going to skip through some of this because we did this on the Monday Night Live a few weeks ago. And just for the sake of time, I really want to get to some key points. But just know that social media actually had a huge impact on our stories, my story. Mr. Humes would always say, you're where you are supposed to be for a reason. Right? And I just held on to everything that he shared because, hey, I had to have a championship coach like Mr. Humes. And so, also, really indicative of my story is the bamboo tree. You all know the story of the bamboo tree. You water for 5 years and nothing happens. And you can easily say nothing's happening, but something really is happening. The root underneath is growing to a strong, solid point so that after 5 years, it takes literally 5 weeks for it to grow 90 feet tall. So it wasn't the 5 weeks, it was the 5 years. When nobody saw anything happening beneath the soil, that's when the true success is really happening. But you don't always see it, right? And so I'm going to jump off right into my social media training just so that I can make sure I cover everything. But I got a few people that I have to thank once again. Obviously, I want to thank God because none of this is possible without Him. I want to thank, of course, my lovely wife, DJ and Barbara Owens, of course, Mike Hughes. Hey, love you, man. Let me go to the next slide. We're going to be consistent. We're going to be consistently what? So no matter what challenges you have, like the challenges I have, we're going to just keep going. We're going to go through those challenges and not just let them take us back. Also, you're going to have to realize you got to build and rebuild because the folks that I started with are not the ones that I'm working with today. Does that make sense? So you're going to always have a new team. And you're going to always be developing a new organization. So just understand that we're going to continue to build and rebuild. Okay? Also, understand. Okay, so The compound effect. It's important because you got to understand that it's just like when Brian Glover teaches about the popcorn train. You can't put it in, take it out, put it in, take it out. You have to let it sit. You got to let it cook for a while, right? So some of us are not giving our businesses an opportunity to grow because we're so inconsistently consistent. But be consistently consistent. And because of my time, I'm going to move a little bit faster here.
Take it away. And the newest $100,000 ringer is here with our team. Official today, meaning that Mr. and Mrs. Bales have earned $100,000 in the last 12 months with our business. This is a huge
And then things started, we had challenges. But through the whole challenge, I understood that I had to what? Be consistent, and we build and we rebuild. But the great thing is, this business doesn't matter how well you do, right? Because you can always, through the system, create success outside of yourself. And so we were blessed to have our first six-figure ring earner, Bob and Larry Swan. And so we're excited about that as well. So, fast forward a few years, obviously right now we're in the fourth quarter, and we're going to go ahead and play a quick little video. And we got married, and I moved to South Carolina, but what happened is we had some more challenges. Trying to maintain the team in New York and trying to build a new team in South Carolina, and I fell out of Performance Club after 4 years. How many people have ever fallen out of Performance Club? You know what that's like. And back then, there was no reboot. Does that make sense? So, but guess what? We kept going because we decided we were going to be what? Consistently. And so we built a bigger team, we kept on growing, we kept on expanding, and things started to get a whole lot better. We were blessed to build our first home from the ground up, and I was excited because I went from not even being able to afford rent, and now we're owning a home. First in our generation to own our own home. And all those times that we could get done, we were working with a luxury system. It also put us in a position where we could start to raise our nephew, who's now 9, but we actually started raising him at the age of 3. Unfortunately, his dad passed. But the great thing about this business is we were able to step in, help her sister, help Vanessa's sister out, and we've been raising them actually ever since. So if you follow us, you know about the Chronicles of Joe and how hilarious it is. And so we earned our $50,000 ring in 2016. Actually, we earned it before that, but they had an inaugural 50K ring. That's when they opened it up in 2016. And at that point, we had $70,000 in our business, and I just knew we were going straight to, we were going to get that six-figure ring. That was always the goal. It was never 50K, it was always 100K, right? But guess what? That's not what happened, right? Because I embody that quote, right? And so this is on an elevator to a Team Vision party. And they were recognizing Bud Calhoun as the newest six-figure ringer. Right? And we took that picture on an elevator, and we were just excited to be at a party. Right? At that point, I didn't even know what six figures were. Because no one, where I grew up, in Buffalo, New York, which at one point was the third poorest city in America, no one was making six figures. Well, I won't say no one that I know. Right? And so, I started building, and we built an executive director organization out in Rochester, New York, and I was an executive director. And I said, look, let's just move to Rochester, right? So I moved to Rochester, it's about an hour away, and we started building. We were expanding, and we were growing, we were getting better, but we still had to become an executive director organization. And we were trying to figure out how to make that work. But like Colin Brown said, we just got to figure it out. And that's what we did. And so cars would break down, couldn't afford rent half the time. But we eventually learned how to become an executive director and maintain it consistently. So then at that point, I was able to finally get a new car. And it was to a point where I would set appointments at a coffee shop and then tell my whole team to meet me there, and I would walk. So they had no idea I was walking, right? But that was the game plan, right? Because no matter what happens, we have to be consistently what? Absolutely. So let's fast forward to the third quarter, and I'm moving kind of fast, but I was blessed to meet my life challenges. I love this thing, me versus me, because it really encompasses my journey as well. And I've heard so many people say that got on stage. And so I also want to encourage the people who maybe you've been around for a while, or maybe your business didn't just go like that, right? And so we didn't even fast our qualify in the beginning. So how many people, raise your hand, didn't fast our qualify? I want you to know that you can be on the stage. And so, the original championship two, when I was in college, the two on the end were my roommates, and the other gentleman I met at another college, and we heard about these four gentlemen, and they called them the Four Horsemen. And we were like, oh my God, that's going to be us. So we put our hands and we were like, hey, we're going to get the rings together. But guess what? That's not what happened. Because they all quit. Right? And I also want to highlight DJ and Barbara Owens. Can you give it up for them? If you've ever read the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I refer to them as my rich mom and dad. Because they poured into me, they believed in me when I didn't even believe in myself. Right? And so I'm forever grateful for them. In fact, that house that I showed you, they would fly in from Virginia to do private business sessions for me when there was blizzard, when no one showed up. They kept on coming. Right? And I'm forever grateful for them. Right? And so, look, a championship team needs championship winning coaches. And so I'm so grateful for Mr. Hughes. This is the first time that I met this gentleman, and I saw that I could have a future in him. I saw that my life could be better because I've never been around people that successful as people like Mr. Hughes. And so I just held on to everything. His quote,